And it is time for another Friday Night Live. All right, well, let's get things rock and roll. Let's see you guys join in real quick. I know we got a couple of comments. What's up, Jason Clay? Welcome, man. Welcome. Right on. We got 3 people in from Facebook. We'll let a YouTube kick off here in just a second. We'll see, get this thing rolling. It takes a little bit. But yeah, I've got some pretty cool announcements tonight, that's for sure. Like I said last week, and I'll say this again when everybody jumps on, but like I said last week, this month of April is sponsored by Georgia 811. I've got the shirt on, just happened to have it on. I wore it fishing today. It was a little chilly this morning, but yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. That's going to be part of the giveaway. I'm partnering with them, and it's really cool because they're they're not in the fishing industry, so it's a kind of a different way of sponsoring for me, or having a sponsorship for me. So they agreed to sponsor me for this month, and so all the videos that I produce, or most of the videos I produce this month, is going to have their little logo down the bottom, and that's it. I might talk a little bit about them, but that's about it. It's pretty cool. Got some other obligations to do for them on the side, but that's it. What's going on? Hey, Caden, what's going on? Upstate Angler, how you doing, man? My family is doing very, very good, for sure. Jason Clay, already said hi to you. Hey, Scott Hash, how are you? Tire smoke. Hey, what's going on, man? Good. We'll get everybody jumping on here, and then we'll make some real quick announcements, and I'll probably announce it a couple of times during the show tonight. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope it finds everybody healthy. I know we got crazy times right now with this COVID-19 deal. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy around here. My wife's a nurse, so you can only imagine how crazy it's been. So everybody's saying, hey, what's up? What's going on? Lynn, what's going on? Mark? Cody Morgan, how you doing, man? All right. Awesome. I love to see everybody jumping on here. Man, I tell you, I went fishing today out at my public lake. Luckily, Georgia, with our stay-in-place order that starts at 6 o'clock tonight, actually started at 6 o'clock tonight, we can still go fishing. We still have to obey all of the keep your distance and all that other stuff, all the stuff they've asked us to do. We just got to stay away from people. And, I was kind of observing people at the boat ramp and so on and so forth. Guys, there's some knuckleheads out there, really. So I'm going to put this in a nutshell. Wash your hands as much as you can. Sterilize them as much as you can. Do not touch your face. This disease is transmitted through the mouth, nose, and eyes. And so, or this virus. I love the idea of a face mask because it reminds you not to touch your face. It keeps you from contaminating anybody else. Doesn't really protect you much because it can still get in your eyes and still get in your hands and stuff like that. I can talk forever about it because I've read a ton of things about it, and I'm staying away from Facebook because I don't believe a daggum thing on Facebook. But I'm learning about this virus. The biggest thing is don't touch anything that somebody else has touched. I watched a guy get into somebody else's truck to back his boat down the driveway or down the ramp, and I'm like, dude, what if he has it? Now you've got it. So it's kind of crazy. Anyway, all right, let's get this thing rolling. We got 150 people going. All right, so everybody, this month we are doing a giveaway in conjunction with Georgia 811. And what Georgia 811 is, it's a number that you call in Georgia, and I'm sure most other states have it too. Call 811, and if just before you plan on digging in your yard. And what that does is they will contact all the utility companies. You tell them where you're going to dig. They'll contact all the utility companies, and the utility companies come out to your place or wherever you're digging, and they'll mark all the utilities to make sure that you don't stick a shovel or a backhoe or something into those utilities, which causes a major issue. So it's simple. You just call 811, do what they tell you to do on the phone, and within 3 or 4 days, somebody shows up and starts marking your utilities. So anybody want to know how much it costs to fix fiber optic cable? Anybody know? Because I remember way back in the day, it was hundreds of thousands. So it was crazy. So anyway, So with George 811, what we're going to do is a pretty big giveaway. There's a link in the description of this video on YouTube and should be on Facebook. I haven't checked it yet, but that link, when you click on it, will take you to a page that looks like, if I can get it to pop up, looks like this. Okay. And this is the Fishing with Fluke Master giveaway. And what it does is you go down here, you enter your name, email address, and phone number. Tell them that you're at least 18 years old. Okay, I'm going to try to do it. I've already done it once. Let's see if it'll let me. Okay, and then continue. Then the little thing pops up that looks like this. And each one of these things, you just click on the +1, and it'll take you to each of these links. Visit these links, subscribe, like, do whatever it tells you to do. And each of those is an entry. Then you go down here and you refer friends. You go share it with a bunch of friends, share a specific link with a bunch of friends, and it links back to you. And the more friends you can get to enter this, the more chances you have to win. How cool is that? So, so far there's 578 total entries. I've done it twice just to see how it was. It's going to be hard to win a trip, win a trip with myself, but anyway. There we go. So what do you think? You guys give me some feedback. I think it'd be pretty cool. Now, this trip is a trip to my local lake. We planned it for the end of May, early June, somewhere around that time. With this coronavirus, that's probably going to change, but we're going to pay to have you come and stay a couple of nights in a hotel down the street, and you're going to go fishing with me on my home lake. And so I'm hoping it's the end of May and June, because I know where the big fish are during that period of time. But it can be kayak fishing, it can be boat fishing. I prefer boat fishing because I want to do a video about it and basically highlight whoever wins. But so it's probably going to end up being in the boat, in my boat. But man, it's going to be awesome. Let's just hope and pray that it's all this stuff is said and done by June, but it may or may not be. Who knows? But we'll definitely make sure you win the trip. That's for sure. Let's see. All right. I'm just reading comments, guys. I'm sorry. So what do you think? I think that's a pretty fun little trip, a fun little deal. I'm looking forward to it. I always love fishing with people. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully by then everything's straightened up or close to being straightened up. So you think too much of me, man. It's just awesome giveaway. The amount someone can learn from fishing with you is crazy. Maybe sometimes, I love to sit down and teach people about fish finders. I wish I could video them very well, but I still can't figure out how to get those Ray Marines to stop flickering so much. I've tried it in post. I've tried it on the camera. There's some reason I can't get them to film right. So that'd be funny if I did a trip myself. Pretty cool. All right, let's jump into some fishing stuff. So that's all you guys got to do. Like I said, just click on that link. Now, also in the link, you'll see a coupon code. If you go to flukemaster.com, now let me show you. Let me pull up my little fancy dancy banner. If you go to flukemaster.com and click on and order something, you get 10% off by using the coupon code that's down in the description. So that's another thing. I almost forgot about that because I don't see the description in front of me. Let's see. Randy says, what I don't get is there ever going to be an end? And they say, okay, we're good. Everyone's go back to an old normal. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a slow process. I think it's really good that we're not taxing our healthcare, or trying not to tax our healthcare workers in our hospitals and stuff like that. It's just it's serious right now. It's going to be, I almost feel like old COVID-19 is holding up a Corona saying, here, hold my beer. Let me show you knuckleheads what I can do. Because these next couple of weeks are going to be kind of crazy. Just stay home, don't get in touch, don't contact don't touch anybody, do what you got to do, but stay home at all, and if at all possible. So I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's just going to be crazy. Okay. Let's see. Who do I pay off to win? I love it. How's it going, man? Been a long time since I had a chance to watch. Thanks, Mike. I'm glad you're able to join us, man. Jason says, I spent an hour today and learned the FG knot. Thanks for the advice. Had been using a double uni. Yeah, dude, they're awesome. I love the FG knot. Michael Dawson, hey, Fluke, please come to Wilson Lake and show me how to fish it. Just bring your rods and tackle. We stretch the Stratus legs. That's awesome, man. I love Wilson. Wilson is such a fun lake just because it's got everything within a small little package, little bitty lake compared to the rest of them on the Tennessee River chain. So, let's see. Riley says, "What's up, Gene? I would love to win this trip to give it to my dad, who watches your channel too, but it's taking care of my mom who has come down with the Rona." Oof, man. Prayers for your mama. Yeah, guys, just to hang in there, because healthy people survive, and even not so healthy people survive. It's just one of those things. It's a crazy thing. What speed of reel would you use for topwater? I use a 7.3-to-1 mostly for topwater. Frogs, I use an 8.1-to-1, but it really doesn't matter. 7 or 8, whichever one you're comfortable with. That's not it's not an end all if you even have a 6.6-to-1. Man, I remember when that was the highest speed reel you could get was a 6.6-to-1. I'm slouching in my chair. Let me drop my camera down. It's nuts that now we have all the way up to like a 9 or whatever. I don't know what the highest gear ratio is now. But let's see. PSA, stop gathering in Home Depots. Amen. Yeah, there really wasn't a lot of people at Home Depot yesterday when I went. So if there are, I usually don't go in. But I went and picked up a whole bunch of timber, or a whole bunch of wood. So kind of off topic, but what would you recommend a affordable rod just for chatterbait fishing? My favorite chatterbait rod is $100, and it is called a chatter crank rod. It's the Fate Black from 13 Fishing, and it was made for chatterbaits and heavier square bills, lipless crankbaits. It's also good for spinner baits and buzz baits. So it's a really, really good rod. It's got that parabolic bend, but that you want for open hook lures, but it's got enough backbone, enough stiffness in it to be able to set the hook on like spinner baits and chatterbaits and really muscle the fish in. So let's see. Thanks for all the comments, guys, by the way. I appreciate it. Going to chick in the morning, what should I look for? I have no clue, honestly. They should be up spawning. I would look shallow. I would literally go in the back of pockets and drag a lizard or let's see, any kind of a creature bait, really. Throw a crankbait or a spinner bait around if there's a little bit of wind on the water. They should be up in those pockets spawning right now. Change the refresh rate. I tried. Trust me, I tried. I'm talking about the fish finder itself. I have done everything. I've looked online. I've tried all kinds of stuff. And it's not a flicker. It's like a black. It's like somebody took a big black bright wide line and just run it over top of it, and you can only have about that much space that you could see on the fish finder through the viewfinder on the camera. It's crazy. But anyway, if it was flickering, I could fix it, but it's not. Wish I could enter, but I'm 13, turned 14 in April-ish. Oh, thanks for watching, man. But yeah, you can have your dad enter. That'd be cool, or your mom. I'll fish with a younger kid if their parent is or guardian is present. That's easy. That's a no-brainer. So let's see. Cross state lines and hit Cumberland early this week. Found them up in the headwaters and got my arm stretched. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Sorry, where again is the chance to win trip? Just got in. Click on the link down in the description and follow all the rules and stuff down there. It's not that hard. It's real simple. So thanks, Lynn. I appreciate it. Hey, Gene, do you have a favorite brand of spinnerbait? I love greenfish tackle spinnerbaits. Always have. They have that little bit thinner wire that gives you a little bit more vibration. Another one is called the Mini Me, and I think that's mainly the only two that I use. I have some Strike King ones that I've had for a while, but yeah, the Mini Me and the greenfish tackle spinnerbaits. Greenfish makes some amazing jigs and spinnerbaits. So, oops, sorry, almost put Sean in timeout. Are you still fishing with Biospawn? I have a few. My son fishes with them, but when I left Mystery Tackle Box several years ago, Biospawn is owned by the same person as Mystery Tackle Box, and so both those sponsorships went away. So, which stinks. Biospawn makes some great baits. I tell you that for sure. Let's see. I had a lot of feedback in there, or a lot of input into what they their BioCraw. No, anyway, the flipping bait, the new flipping bait that's out. Let's see. Tyler Sexton says he just caught his first frogfish of the year today. Wow. Big girl, she went 6.8 pounds. That's awesome. Wow. On a frog. That's freaking sick. So I'm going to move my camera over just a little bit. There we go. All right. Let's see. Do you think a Ninja Tail would be a good chatterbait trailer? Yes, I think it would. I haven't tested it yet. If the tail's not flopping because the blade on the chatterbait is stealing the water from it, then it's not going to be a good one. But check it, just run it through the water and check. I have not tested it, but it's got enough. The tail's got enough kick to it that if it does get water, it'd be a great trailer. What are your thoughts on the bow mount on Kayak trend? Actually, I'm going to try it. I'm sponsored by Motor Guide, and Motor Guide and I are going to get together when all this mess is slowed down and figure out what the best, and I know our people are already mounting it on the front of the Bonafide, but I'm going to look and we're going to try to figure out the best way to mount it. And that way I can pick it apart, kind of do it the way I would like it, have it done. So, Fluke, can you use JJ's Magic on already scented soft plastics like the Strike King Coffee Center? Yes, you can. I do it all the time. The guy that actually owns Rage Tail, Steve Parks, he does it all the time. He's a firm believer in JJ's Magic, and all of those Rage Tails are coffee scented, and he doesn't have a problem dipping them either. So, yeah, he's a better resource than I am for sure when you're talking about that kind of stuff. Murder Inc. 87 says, I work in the health industry and this isn't going anywhere right now. The surge is still to come. Just keep washing your hands, practicing social distancing, and keep safe. Yeah, definitely. Keep your hands off your face, like I said earlier. It's one of those things. My wife's telling me the same thing. If you don't have to go to the store, if you don't have to go out, I care about every one of you guys that watch my videos. Don't go out. Stay home. Play video games. I'm planting a garden this week. I'm building a chicken coop. We bought some chickens for my kids to play with, some little chicks. We're calling them apocalyptic pets. But we're gonna have a few chickens in the again. I used to have them about a year and a half ago, but we tore down the chicken coop. So Gene Guntersville has been tough. It's weightless Cinco or nothing. Y'all can keep that then. Of course, right now I'm basically doing the same thing, dragging a lizard. I caught 3 fish today. I know people slayed them today, but I was trying so hard to catch them on a lizard to make a video, and I just never could get a good video of it. It's crazy. Gene Gitter. Oh, I already read that one. Hey, Gene, just wanted to shout out to you from the Adirondacks, upstate New York. Woo! I love it up there, dude. Adirondacks is probably one of my top 10 places to go hang out. Most beautiful mountains, that's just gorgeous up there. I also love Thousand Islands. So what's the best knot to tie when tying a lure on when using fluoro? I tie an improved clinch knot, but make sure you moisten it up with your spit a little bit and then push it down with your thumb as you're tightening it. So it's carefully tightened. If you just jerk it or, pull it hard to try to get that knot to slide down the line, it's going to burn the line and weaken it. But if you just push it down with your thumb, you'll be just fine. And go slow. Let's see. I showed my son your beginner guide videos to teach him because I'm not a good teacher. Now he's catching better than me. That's awesome. I love it, Daniel. That's freaking awesome. Tell your son congratulations. Oh, that's freaking sick. Let's see. Where do you think I would be able to find bedding bass on my local rivers, Pensacola, Florida? They're going to be in slack water. If there's any current whatsoever, they're going to be out of that current. Up shallow in the grass in the Pensacola area is where I would look. But you got to get out of that current. So, look, Master, I've learned a lot from your videos. Thanks, Spencer. I appreciate it, man. How's the garden coming along? My clay soil is almost dry enough. It takes 5 days of no rain before it's dry enough to till, and then hopefully I'm going to till it either tomorrow or Monday, before it rains on Tuesday, and get most everything in. I've enlarged it. I'm going to plant one side of it and prep the soil on the other side for a year, and then alternate them back and forth until I get the soil up. Clay soil is so hard to grow things in. You can, but you have to add and amend a lot of stuff into it. So I could go on forever. Maybe I'll make a video, make a channel on small town farming or something. I don't know. I would like to go somewhere in Armurchie to catch some bank fishing with my son, but don't know much about fish. Got any advice where to go? Rocky Mountain Public Fishing Area. It's $5 for parking. The little kiosks are right there as you go in the entrance, or you can call the number and buy an annual pass for $30, which is what I do. But there's plenty of places to walk around. You park, and there's some good trails that go around most of the lakes. You should have no problem catching fish right now, as shallow as they are. Oh, and it's down Big Texas Valley Road. Why'd you switch from Hobie to Bonafide? Hobie was a 7-video deal that when I was part of what's called the Hooked Up Network, which was a multi-channel network, they negotiated a 7-video deal with Hobie. When that was up, I gave the kayak back to them. And I'm on Bonafide now because I absolutely love it. It's a great fishing boat. I wish it had a pedal drive. It doesn't. But it's such a good fishing boat that I will paddle or throw a motor on the back, a Torpedo on the back, and have no problem with it. I love it. So I have, it just fits me. It's one of those things, and I love the Bonafide. So does the hydro wave work? It's one of those things where it works well enough to where, let me see if I can explain this. If there's bait fish present, it works. If there's no bait fish there, it doesn't. But it's better to be using it than not using it. So that's awesome. Let's see. 153 people watching. 171 now. You guys hit the thumbs up. That's right. Thanks, Scott. I always forget about that. Y'all got to help me promote my own stuff. All I want to do is teach you how to fish. Been on Altoona lately, catching a ton of spots on swim baits. And love meeting you. I'm the Auburn player. Oh, dude. Yay, Big Mike. What's going on, man? Of course, you're not at Auburn right now. I know that for a fact. Super tough bite here up north. What should I throw in 45 to 50 degree water? I throw a jerk bait and a jig until the water temperature gets into about the low 50s. And then I'll throw a lipless crankbait. Actually, you can throw a lipless crankbait 45 to 50 or a chatterbait. If you've got grass, throw a chatterbait and have a ball. It'll be fun. We are doing a Snoopy Pole tournament Tuesday from Yaks. Hard Bottom Lake, what you recommend tying on a shaky head? Throw a shaky head. I'll tell you right now, you'll freaking wear them out. All poles will be donated to local city kid fishing derby. That's awesome. That's awesome. Shaky head with a straight tail worm, just like I did in the video. Went fishing today here in Indiana, going to try Wildcat Creek for some smallmouth. That's awesome. Have I ever used Uncle Buck's straight buzzbait? I have not. I've used something that's called a Froggy Buzzer that's not made anymore. I have a bunch of them, so I still use them. Same sort of deal, and it works great. So, hey, Gene, what is the best way to attack post-spawn bass? Because I have a tough time with this phase every year, it seems. Dude, I'm the same way. Spawning bass is not my favorite thing to fish. I love to get out and fish points and stuff like that. When they're up spawning like they are right now, you've got to throw and fish every little stump and every piece of cover all the way down the bank as slow as you possibly can fish it to catch fish. I don't like to sight fish, but anyway, but those fish are got to pull out. The first wave will spawn and then they'll start to pull out. Start fishing those hard rocky points coming out of creeks. If it's a small pond, start hitting the ends of trees, the laydowns and stuff. The big bass will go and hang out at the ends of these trees and just kind of relax. It's going to be hard to catch them for the first couple of days after they pull out from spawn. But yeah, it really shouldn't be that hard to find them. It's just hard to get them to open up their mouth and bite. So, but that also means topwater's coming. They're going to move out to those points. You'll be able to hit them with a spook or something like that. Is the jackhammer truly better than any other chatterbait? It is one of the best for several reasons. It's got a better hook than most of them. It's got a better blade than most of them. Most of them being that it's a stainless steel blade. It has a head shape where that blade hits the head a whole lot better, and it's got a great action. But the best thing about it is that hook, because you really do get a positive hookup on almost every fish. It's just a wider gap, and it really does it does great, and the fish just tear it up. So Jason says the chatterbait's just now working for me. Good grief, I am way behind, y'all. Sorry about that. Jason, thanks for the 25 bucks, man. I really appreciate it. Man, you guys that donate through Super Chat, I really, really appreciate you. You just don't know. This is, you know, with this coronavirus, the YouTube revenue is really, really cut way back because companies just aren't advertising. So it's one of those things. Any kind of donation, man. This is just awesome. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Jason. Never caught a frogfish, not for lack of trying. Any tips? Northeast Arkansas here. When your water temperature gets up into the high 60s, okay, or 70s, and if you're a bank fisherman, if you put your hand in the water and it just feels like it's, you know, nice and comfortable, it's about 70 degrees. Start fishing shallow cover. Don't just pop it back to you. Learn how to walk it. You know, pause it a little bit. Pop around, but it's got to be around cover. And if you get out on the lake and you see a lot of boils, you know, even if it's little bait fish ticking the surface, you see a lot of action shallow, they're going to be up shallow, and you should be able to at least get bit on a frog. Now, when you get bit, don't set the hook immediately. Your instinct and automatic, you're automatically going to want to set the hook immediately. Count to 3, go 1, 2, and then set the hook like you're trying to hit a home run, and you'll catch them. So, do you have any experience on Lake Oconee? Yes, I do. I grew up fishing Lake Oconee. Won several tournaments out there. So fun little lake. Stay in Sugar Creek. Here in Maryland, can't go fishing. Parks are closed for now. Love your channel. Thanks, man. Just keep watching the videos. I'm literally going to try to pump out as many as I can during this mess. So you guys who can't enjoy your lakes right now, which sucks. I just think it's stupid. But you guys can watch my videos and at least, you know, learn while you're sitting on your butts, not being able to go fishing. So what size bullet weight would you recommend to use generally in ponds less than 10 feet? 1/4 ounce. Never know what size to use. Thanks. I always go with a 1/4 ounce when I'm fishing little ponds. I don't know why. It's just what I got confidence in. And you really don't have to, you know, I'm not fishing deep anyway. So Whiskey Gordon says, my baitcaster trigger button is sticking, making a grinding noise when I reel it in. Any ideas what's wrong? Never been cleaned and has 2 years of service so far, by the way. It needs to be cleaned. It's exactly what it is. It needs to be opened up, have somebody look at it, clean it. You might have something that's broke, but typically that is caused by it just needs to be oiled and cleaned. So definitely something that needs to be done. What software you use for this live stream? It's called StreamYard. It's a website, and real easy to use. And I think the guy that invented it, it looks like he's 19 years old. Real young guy. But Upstate Angler, man, thanks for the $5. I really appreciate it. It says, thanks for taking time out of your week to talk to us. Appreciate you and what you do for fishing world. One of you guys to do it right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's StreamYard is what I'm using. So, what do bass eat that smells like garlic? I think the garlic pisses them off, to be honest with you. I don't think it's something. I'll give you the reason why I think it works, or what I know it works. When I was first getting into bass fishing, I was probably early 2000, 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. I read an article on Bassmasters where somebody had done a scientific deal where they put out 3 or 4 different scents to see what the fish were more attracted to and how they were attracted to it, and garlic won every single time. And so, and then shortly after that, I found JJ's Magic, and all, the light bulb went off. But I really think it just pisses them off, and it makes them hold on to it better. I also think that it covers up the human scent or any plastic or petroleum smell. That's why the Spike It doesn't work as good as JJ's, because Spike It is made from a petroleum product, which is acetone. And so I think staying away from petroleum products and trying to cover them up with something like JJ's, which is tasteless as far as the base product, the base chemical, it's just great. So Russell Snell, thanks for the $5. He says, "Hey man, new here. I'm brand new at bass fishing. Just moved to Kentucky and just looking bass fishing for a hobby. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for $5. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Let's see. I fish from the bank at a public boat ramp, and there is a lot of fishing pressure. How do I catch bass? I fished all kinds of styles. Light line, small baits, and fish super, super slow. If you think you're fishing too slow, then slow down some more, because you're not. Today I was crawling a bait to get bit. So it's one of those things. And there was boats everywhere. It's a high pressure lake. It's open 10 days a month. It's a trophy lake that the state owns, and it's not a whole lot of really big fish come out of it. And for me, at least, I hate it. But my son wanted to fish it, so we were out there. But it's got the parking lot slam packed every day. And after the second or third day that it's open, it's just tough to fish. And so slowing way down will get you bit. So let's see. What do you do when the fish don't bite several days in a row? How do you keep your chin up? Whew. Literally, I just change is what I do. And plus, I'll turn some music on if my chin's down. That's for sure. Turn the cameras off and go fishing. But the best thing is to stop doing what you're doing, because typically what's happening is you are beating a dead horse, and do exactly the opposite. If you're fishing shallow, go fish deep. If you're fishing deep, go fish shallow. If you're fishing fast, slow way down. If you're fishing slow, speed way up. I always just do the opposite of what I'm doing, because obviously I don't have a clue. And so to get a clue, you got to completely change. And that's what I do, is I go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Lee Eubanks, I've been catching them on the bed with a weightless fluke. They're killing them. When all of this blows over, I want to go fishing with you. You don't live far from me. I live in Armurchie as well. Huge fan. That's awesome, man. Yeah, if you see me out at Rocky Mountain, just come snuggle up next to the boat, and we'll have a good old time. That'd be a blast. So, Carol Ferguson says, I got chickens too. Is gonna try top water for the first time this weekend. Wish me luck. Good luck. That'd be awesome. That will be awesome. Wow, I'm way behind in comments, guys. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Let's see. I need to upgrade from a Flint to a bona fide SS-127. Please tell my wife, Maria, why I need one. Or is it Mariah? I think it's Mariah. But anyway, I'll tell you what I love about the bona fide. When I sit down in that chair, it's like sitting in a lawn chair. So my back doesn't hurt by the end of the day. I can sit in that chair all day long. It's easy to paddle with the right length paddle. You got to have a 260 millimeter or centimeter paddle. And it is a fishing machine. Absolutely. You can stand up and fish. You can flip off of it. You can do, or flip and pitch and cast off it, set hooks, whatever. You don't have to worry about falling out. I love it. It's a safe boat, and it's just a lot of fun to fish out of. We finally got smallmouth biting here in Michigan, 42-degree water. Woohoo! with 2 baits, man. I wish I could come up there this year. That's probably the one thing I'm most upset about is I can't make that northern trip like I do this every year. We can't wait for the Savannah River to calm down so we can start back with our favorite kayaking trek from the Savannah Rapids Pavilion down to North Augusta Boat Ramp. So I'm talking about that's a beautiful stretch. That's the prettiest water I've fished in a long time. And it's sad that I lived there for 15 years and never fished it. Really, really sad. I feel like a dumb idiot. But anyway, thoughts on Shimano Corrado DC? I have never fished it, but of the buddies that I have that have them or have had them, it's one of two things. They either really like them or they don't like them so much that they sell them off. And that's what I've noticed. So I know that doesn't help any, but that's, it's an electric reel, but it's an inexpensive one. So that makes me worry about it. What is your favorite Cinco color in clear water? Green pumpkin. Easily. I fish 2 colors, black and blue and green pumpkin is all I fish with Cincos. Go night fishing. Let's let it get warmed up a little bit more before I do. What rod would you throw a Fritz side crankbait on? Also, what size reel? A 6:3-to-1 gear ratio or a 7:3-to-1 if I want to fish, 7:3-to-1 is a good roundabout gear ratio. But I would throw it on a medium moderate action rod. So it's got a lot of parabolic bend to it. Those are made for crankbaits, and that would be exactly what it'd be. That crankbait would load up real good behind it. So go dogs, let's go fishing. What's your thoughts on the Johnny Boat Bassmaster 10? I've only seen one picture of it, and it looks like it's okay. I don't know. Let's see. Would you ever fish in Ontario? What are your thoughts? I don't know. I haven't really ever had the opportunity. It'd be a lot of fun though. Are you and Jordan fishing the April KBF challenge? Yes, we are. Jordan caught 3 today. He's in 6th, I think, currently 6th or 8th. I took the big boat out because I was trying to film. But I will have my kayak. If I can get out on the water tomorrow, I'm going to have my kayak. Any thoughts on what to throw for mid 40-degree water and where to look for the mid 40s? I'm throwing jig chatterbait, lipless crankbait, and a jerkbait, and I'm throwing it up against points, 45-degree banks. So if the bank's coming into the water at about a 45-degree angle, you don't have to get your protractor out. Just kind of guesstimate. And I'm going to work those banks and with any one of those baits. If they're in the grass, I'm going to throw a chatterbait and a lipless crankbait. So Dylan says, I am 14 and new to fishing. I'm looking for a combo under $2, 200. Oh, Dylan, you left me a message on YouTube yesterday. I haven't had a chance to answer that one. I just wanted a good rod that will catch bass. A medium heavy. Now, I'm sponsored by 13, so take this with a grain of salt. But this is what I know the most of because I've been fishing them for 5 years. And somebody's coming down the stairs. I'm trying to figure out who it is. The Fate Chrome is an $80 rod. And then the Origin A is, I think, $80. So that's $160. Or the Origin C is $100. Those are 2 really good beginner reels that you can beat the snot out of, and they're still going to work for you. So really, that's what I would start with anyway. The City Troll says, I fish the bank at night. I've never used jigs, but want to. What do you recommend? Literally, whatever let me think. Hold on a second. Instead of just blowing off at the mouth. I would literally find a jig that you can drag. An Archie head jig is a really good jig, and a lot of companies make them. But any kind of jig that you want to drag, I tell you what's a good one. The structured jig from Strike King is a good one. Make it black and blue, and make sure it has rattles on it, and then use a good chunk trailer, and you'll be just fine. So, and just drag it, dude. Find some hard bottom and drag it. They're killing flukes and live minnows up at Sloppy Floyd. Great place to take the kids. We've been thinking about it. I drove by there the other day, and I told my wife that we needed to go up there and try and check it out. Up north, what would you do if you're not getting the big one and want it? I would throw big baits. Literally, I don't think there's a bait big enough or too big to catch, big fish up north. So I love the 8 or the 9-inch bull shad is probably one of my favorite ones. So I know you used to tie your own bass jigs. Do you still? And what gauge wire did you use? I think I used 22 gauge wire, if I remember correctly. I don't do it anymore. My son has all of my stuff in his room, and he ties jigs because I taught him how. But yeah, I think it was 22 gauge floral wire is what I used. How do you keep from losing all your stuff if you turn your kayak over? I've never turned my kayak over. The Bonafide SS127 is very difficult to flip. You flip it when you're trying to get back into it if you don't know how to get back into it. So I'm going to jump on my soapbox for a second about kayak fishing, guys. Make sure you hit the thumbs up while you're sitting there waiting for me to stop talking. If you feel yourself going over in your kayak, throw yourself in the water. Literally just throw yourself in the water. And then when you that'll keep you from tipping stuff out of your boat. Even if the boat doesn't tip over, you can still knock stuff out. So you throw yourself in the water. Now what you do is you kick that's why I wear Crocs. I kick my shoes off and the Crocs float to the surface. I can get them later. Pull up to the side of your kayak. Your goal is to get your belly. Now I got a big belly and it's kind of tough to do this, but get your belly over top of your gunnel, the siding that your hands are on, before your boat starts to flip over. So you kick, push, and jump and reach across to the other side of your boat as you're kicking and get your life jacket and your belly over top of the front gunnel. Roll over on your back, turn, sit up, and get in your seat. Pretty simple. Chad Hoover's got a real good video. If you don't mind looking at his pants coming down around his, he showed a little butt crack when he fell out, but it was kind of funny. But he's got a great video on how to open water, get back in the boat. And I've had to do it once when I reached down to get something out of the water that I dropped in the water and leaned too far. I started to fall or started to tip, and I just threw myself in the water. Yes, there were alligators around. Is nothing happening lockdown wise in Georgia? It just started at 6 o'clock today or this evening. There's a stay in place order. The governor, it's got a whole list of things that you can and can't do. And fishing is one of those things you can do as long as you continue to practice social distancing. They don't mind. And DNR's watching. Saw him today. So let's see. Mario, I don't know anything about catching sand bass. What is a good jig for skipping? I'm trying to teach myself to skip. An archy head jig. And then what you do is you move the skirt away from the bottom of the jig. And then your trailer needs to be something with a flat bottom. And I love like a rage bug, or not rage bug. Well, rage bug will work fine, but a rage craw that's got a little flat bottom. I've got a video on how to skip a jig, and that's what you need to, really what you need to watch. But yeah, and then make it a light jig, low trajectory, really fast. And as it's skipping, lift your rod up, because if it's a bait caster, you're going to get a backlash if you just leave your rod out there. So you skip and you lift your rod up. So Melody, oh my gosh, thank you for the 25 bucks. I really, really appreciate it. Holy cow. Oh man, y'all are awesome. Between you and Jason and everybody else that's donated, I don't have the list up there anymore, but that's awesome. I really appreciate every one of you. Let's see. Jason says my shirts are awesome. That's awesome, man. I appreciate it. Or let's see. Ken, appreciate the comment. What do I think of Bass Forecast? Oops. Where is it at? RJ. I like it. Let me make sure I'm telling you the right thing. It's the one I have on my phone. I never look at the names of things. Yeah, Bass Forecast. I use it. It's fairly accurate when it comes to feeding times and things like that. But yeah, this time of the year during the spawn, it doesn't matter so much. But as they're starting to feed back up, it does. I love paying attention. I'll fish all day long, but I love paying attention to see when I catch those fish and see if they match up with the feeding times that are on Bass Forecast. So, hi, Gene, here in Pennsylvania. It's cold water. I struggle with offshore fishing. I always go shallow. What is one of the baits you recommend to learn with? This is going to sound kind of weird because I don't know. My first thought was a Carolina rig, really. Put a lizard, a little lizard on a Carolina rig. And not a long leader, 14-inch leader maybe, because the longer the leader, the harder it is to cast. So about a 12 to 14-inch leader. and drag it on these points. And if you got natural lakes, find rock piles that stick out a little bit more and hard bottom, and drag it. Go watch my Carolina rig video that I made last year, and literally just, try that, because that's one of the best offshore rigs there is. And you can feel the bite. You're going to catch fish. It's a soft plastic. And it's just one of those things that you really can gain a lot of confidence in figuring out how to fish offshore. So let's see. Ethan, thanks for the $10, man. Golly, y'all are awesome. I appreciate it. I really do. Jeremiah Burrish, what's going on, my friend? Says 50-degree water temps here and catching bass on frogs on the Mississippi River out of La Crosse. No joke. I hate you right now, Jeremiah. I just hate you. If you guys don't know who Jeremiah is, go back and watch my the video where I caught the 300-pound Goliath grouper, a 250-pound Goliath grouper out of my kayak. Jeremiah was with us. He was the first guy to catch a grouper on that video. But yeah, I hate you right now, man. I wish I was up there frog fishing. Let's see. A lot of weeds here in New York. What would you throw? A lipless crankbait. If it's real shallow, a fluke, maybe a Cinco, that kind of stuff. But yeah, you just got to find stuff that you can work through the weeds efficiently is really what it is. But a lipless is really good. If there's submerged weeds and they're kind of spread out, a chatterbait and a lipless crankbait work really, really good. So let's see. North Carolina WRC issued a warning letter to maintain social distancing, or they will close ramps and access areas. Dude, I'm expecting the same thing from Georgia, really. And most of the people did pretty good today out on the lake that I was seeing. There were a few boats that had 3 adults in it. I hope they were all family. That's what I worry about. I worry about DNR kind of getting nitpicky. But there was some stuff where I'm like, guys, y'all don't even understand what this thing is and what it's all about. But, some people are smart. Some people will never get it. Holy cow, Zachary. He says, bro, it's 26 degrees here. Oh, my goodness. Coltrane Fishing, shout out from Jefferson, Georgia. What can I do to stay occupied since the new state order? You can still go fishing. In Georgia, you can. You just have to make sure that you're not in a group of 10 people and you're keeping your distance from everybody else. Yeah, you can still go fishing in public areas. So I'm glad, because then I can still make videos. Y'all were about to see gardening videos. If they were going to shut down my fishing, you were going to see chicken and garden videos. So, well, anyway. Dylan says, I never used a bait caster, but I've seen your video teaching how to use it. What would you suggest a beginner like me choose for an all-around setup bait caster spinning? Medium to a medium heavy rod, 7 foot to 7'3". A medium rod is really good if you like to use like moving baits, like spinner baits and buzz baits and lipless crankbaits, topwater, that kind of stuff. But if you like to drag a Texas rig, lizard, or a jig, or a lot of stuff that you're fishing around a lot of cover, medium heavy rod. Bait caster, 7:3 to 1 gear ratio, whichever one you can afford. That's exactly what I would do. Do you think the bass will spawn multiple times this year? I think a couple of months they will. I saw a 10-pounder on bed last week that was spawning with 2 separate males. She would go over here and spawn, and then she'd go over the other side of this log down a little ways and spawn with that one. And then she'd go back, and then she'd go here. But she wouldn't bite my lure, and she was all of 10 pounds, back and forth. I wanted to choke myself. I tried so hard to catch her. Let's see. Hi from Southeast Missouri. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. Let's see. Ethan, I appreciate your comment, man. That's awesome. Off topic, but I'm in the north near Canada. When is the best time to fish topwater lures like whopper ploppers and such? We still have some ice up here. You're going to want to wait until the water temperature gets into the 60s, and then they'll move up shallow. Of course, you probably got a lot of smallmouth too, and they'll hit topwater a lot and a lot different times than you think they should. But when the water gets into the 60s and up into the high 60s, you're going to be golden for topwater. You should be good, man. That's what I was thinking. Thanks, Jeremiah. I think spawn is coming to Kentucky real soon. It's been 60s and 70s last 3 days. Yeah, watch your nighttime temperatures. If your nighttime temperature's in the high 50s, it's coming, dude. It's coming quick. So what knot do you use with most with fluorocarbon? The improved clinch knot, carefully tied. Let's see. What do you prefer, a 2-tap or 1-knocker, lipless over one with rattles in early spring? To be honest with you, I try everything until the bass tell me what they want. This year on, where was I catching them on that? I think it was on Lake Fork. Anyway, I was fishing pre-spawn or close to spawn with one that didn't make any noise. It was called the Mime from, oh goodness, what's the name of the, what's Timmy Horton's tackle company? Profound Outdoors. It's called the Mime, and it has no rattles in it. And then I'll throw a 2-tap or a 1-knocker to see if they like that. And it just depends. There's no rhyme or reason why they like one over the other. So I'll try all of them. So, yeah, Ethan, I read that about Florida closing state parks and boat ramps. And, oh, that's crazy. I don't understand it unless they just don't want to have to deal with, watching people and making sure they're social distancing. They don't have to watch us. We're adults, How do you avoid a wind knot with lighter braided line in the spinning rod? I have one with 10-pound braid tied on 8-pound fluoro leader, and it's making me frustrated to keep to the point I'll freak out like Ike and Nelly. My thought is you've got a lot of twist in your line if you get wind knot, and braid will eventually twist up just like everything else. It just takes so much longer. The best thing to do is if you're in a boat, to cut your lure off and let your line run behind your boat. Let a bunch of line out and let it run behind your boat for 100 yards or so, and then reel it back in, and all your twist will come out. If you're bank fishing, what I typically would do would cut my lure off, tie on a little bell sinker, throw it over top of a tree. When I say bell sinker, make it about a half ounce. Throw it over a tree and let the bell sinker come back down, cut that sucker off, and reel your line back in. And as it's going over top of that limb, it'll come undone. So there's a trick I've never shared on a video. Minnesota fisherman, thanks for the $10, man. God, you guys donating are freaking awesome. Of course, I probably already thanked you because I'm out of it right now. Man, I got so sore in the boat today. The fishing was so slow. Hey, Krista, how are you doing? Let's see. David says, how do you tell when the spawn times are? Southwest Virginia here. It has to do with a lot with water temperature. Once the water temperature gets up into the high 50s and into the low 60s, they start to move up and get ready to spawn. 63 seems to be the trigger. And it also has to do with light penetration. And as to how deep they're going to spawn and when they're going to spawn. If you've got a clear lake, they're going to spawn when that water temperature gets up into the mid 60s, because they're going to spawn a little bit deeper, and that deeper water is still a little chilly. At least that's my thought behind it, and that's my experience. But still, it all has to do with light penetration and water temperature. Let's see. Any tips on telling bites from bottom or snags, say on a shaky head or anything dragging the bottom? The best thing, then, what I tell everybody is go shallow. Go get into shallow water that you can see what you're casting to. Like if you see a log, throw over top of that log, drag it up to that log, close your eyes and feel what that bait feels like hitting a piece of wood. It'll feel different than the rock. Find a rock, drag it up. You'll feel that rock. Find grass, same thing. Learn, teach yourself what all this stuff feels like, and make sure you know what it is. And then anything that feels different, that, hey, like you're dragging, you're like, oh, I didn't cause that. What was that? Hold your rod still with a little bit of just a little bend in your line, and watch your line. And if it's moving one side or the other, if you see it move on its own, it's a fish. Set the hook. So, yeah, I stopped to talk to my son today with a bait sitting down the bottom of a stump. And by the time I got done talking to him, that bait was all the way on the other side of my boat. And it was a big fish, and I missed it. Was not happy, but that was me running my mouth with Jordan. Jordan was in his kayak. What's your favorite lures to use during the spawn? Anything that pisses them off. That literally, I'll have 20 baits on the boat. sitting on the deck of the boat, retying, picking up rods. I'll have a bunch of rods laying out on the boat. Just keep throwing stuff at them until it pisses them off. And that's just how I do it. It really doesn't. I don't have a rhyme or reason. I just want to tick them off until they bite whatever's in my line, on the end of my line. So, hey, Sean, welcome, man. Sean's here every week. Thanks for the $10, brother. As always, you are awesome. Hey, Fluke, hope you and your family doing well and staying safe. Thanks for all the knowledge you would pass on. Appreciate it, man. Woo! All right, I'm going to catch my breath real quick, and I forgot to bring my water down, so my throat's already getting dry. Trick Shot Joe says, hey, Fluke, took your advice from last week's tips. Been having great success with using a weighted Cinco on a Texas rig. Wow. Is there a second rig that real well when the fish aren't biting on the Cinco? Oh, that work well when they're not biting on. I would actually just switch up from a Cinco to like a creature bait, like a brush hog, a little baby brush hog, something like that. You can go from that. That's two different extremes. You've got just the stick bait, or you've got something that's got some appendages, and I'd switch back and forth between the two. Fish them the same way. You already know how to fish them. Just try two different types of baits. Is it a good time to throw crankbaits right now in Georgia? Yes, square bills and lipless, but I may end up throwing a square bill tomorrow. But shallow running square bills. The bass are all up shallow right now, or at least most of them are. Do you think the Daiwa Tatula SV spared with a 7-foot medium heavy fast taper would be a good combo for spinner baits? New heavy fast taper. Buzz baits in Texas rig. Yes. If you're throwing light spinner baits, probably not, but most spinner baits are 3/8 half ounce, and that rod will work just fine for them. So that's what I used to throw a buzz bait on until I found the chatterbait rod. I live in North Florida, and all my lakes have thick submerged grass, and it's only about 3 to 5 feet deep across most of the lakes. That sounds like a Florida lake. What would be some rigs and baits you would use? I don't use a lot of different baits on Florida. Florida is totally different than anywhere else in the country because of the style and types of lakes that you have. Your two colors are going to be black and blue and June bug of soft plastics. You're going to throw a weightless fluke and fish it super slow, or fluke. Sorry, a weightless Cinco. Either one of those two colors, and fish it slow. Another good one is something with a paddle tail on the back, or some type of a swimming worm. A swimming Cinco is good. A rage cutter worm is good. Let me think. That's one of the only ones that come to my mind right now. I was trying to think of thinking of some other ones, but I don't know what it is with June bugging black and blue, but they work down in Florida in that grass all the time. When are you going to do some more kayak fishing videos? I'm taking a break. Actually, I might fish out of my kayak tomorrow, but I spent a whole lot of time in my kayak, and I'm still sponsored by Alumacraft, so I owe them some time and some videos. So I'm going to spend a lot of time in my boat this month, although I am in the middle of fishing the KBF Challenge Series at here in Georgia. So I'll be in my kayak a little bit this month. So, yeah, the Tatula, actually, Ethan, you're right. The Tatula is a great reel. How would you rig your Cincos now? I only rig them one way. I Texas rig them. I don't like to fish them wacky rig. I lose too many. I don't hook as many fish as I do with a Texas rig. I just have more issues with it personally. And people catch them on wacky rig Cincos all the time. I don't. So, all right, we're going to do a few more questions. We got a couple more minutes, and we're going to wrap things up. David says, fishing on the lake in northern Indiana right now, sunny skies, 50-degree water, really dirty. What colors and what lures would you recommend? If there's a little bit of wind, a moving bait. If you got dirty water, something that's got a little bit of white and chartreuse in it, or something that's got some chartreuse or bright yellow, spinnerbait comes to mind. Maybe a lipless crankbait or a square bill crankbait. Chatterbait would work good. And then if there's no wind on the water, just a black and blue jig or black and blue soft plastic. So Rome Branson says, dude, I love Friday Night Live. I appreciate it, man. Before I get off, let me talk to you guys again about how you can win a fishing trip with me, okay? Before I forget. Let me see if I can do this right. There we go. Go to the link down in the description. It's at georgia811.com index, whatever. You can read the link, but go there and you're going to see this right here. Okay, and then down here, it's going to ask you for your name, your email address, and your phone number. Fill that out, enter the contest, and then you'll come up and you'll see this and start clicking on these plus ones. Each of these is an entry. Okay, so like if I was to go to Georgia 811 Adventures on Instagram, I'm going to go visit it just by clicking on the number 1. Visit it on Instagram, and it goes over to the Instagram account. Go ahead and give them a follow while you're at it. And then you go back over here and it is entered. So on and so forth and so on and so forth. I'm going to follow them on my phone because every time I do it on my laptop, it doesn't work. But anyway, so you just go down the line. And then down here, it says refer a friend for extra entries. When you click on that, it will generate a link. Copy that link, send it to your friends, and get them to click on it and enter through that. And the more entries that come for them, the more you get entered. So right now I've got 3 entries. There's 578 total, and you only got 26 days left. And this is for a here we go. All right. So you're going to get put up in a hotel right down the road from my house. We're going to go over here to my local lake. We're going to fish and catch the snot out of them. We're going to have a good time. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to do this. And then also down in the description is a coupon code where you can go to flukemaster.com. Anything you buy, you get 10% off using that coupon code. And that is it. That's all you got to do. Real easy. So, Krista, I hope I answered your question. That's how you do it. Well, I really appreciate you guys joining me. I'm sorry I can't stay on much longer. I'm going to go spend some time with my family. So, like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get on the water, go out and catch some fish, and have a great day. We'll see you.